My name is Baillif. I'm an assistant professor of theater and entertainment technologies at Gulf Coast State College. I've been working professionally for a little bit, and I've always wanted to go back into teaching ever since I was in 10th grade and took a dual enrollment course, basically. And it was a chemistry class. That really wasn't my interest, but I said, professing, this looks like a good thing. You know, you get to stay all day, talk about what you love and what you're passionate about, and share that with other people, and you get to continually learn new experiences and develop yourself. So always wanted to make it back into education after I graduated, and got a little experience in the professional world, and then came back to teach. With my career here at Gulf Coast, I would say the most rewarding part is the enthusiasm that the students share. It keeps me going, it keeps me energized to do the next show and always push myself when they're constantly pushing themselves. And I think it's a cyclical increase of energy between myself and the students. So that's the most rewarding here. I think in general with the profession, I think what's most rewarding is being able to reach out and be a part of the community and help promote community awareness in a time where everything's going digital and it's all away from human interactive, to bring that live theater element, that live human cooperation back into the community is what I'm most excited to be constantly a part of. I did my undergrad at Auburn University. I have a bachelor's in environmental design, which is a 4-year architecture degree. From there I went on to the University of Alabama, where I received a Master's of Library and Information Science, which was in pursuit of becoming a better educator eventually. And then I continued on. I got hooked on theater, and I got my MFA in Scenic Design and Technical Production. I was very lucky early on in my career to do an internship with the Alabama Shakespeare Festival. And while I was there, I got to work with a wonderful designer who has just a remarkable career, John Iacovelli. People know him from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was the art director, and he did the Broadway revival of Peter Pan. And when ASF brought Peter Pan to the stage there, they actually hired John Iacovelli and did a revival of the Broadway set. And I got to be his on-site assistant. And making that connection, it was just phenomenal. It was a wonderful experience to work with one of the top designers in the field at an early age. Very intimidating, but he was one of the most marvelous and friendly, nice people that I ever met. I think one of the things I really learned from him is that in this field, it's such a small industry that if you're going to be successful, you have to be friendly. You have to be able to get along with people, and that it is an area where sometimes the nice guys, they do finish first. ASF brought a lot of opportunities to me. Before I even did my internship there, an opportunity to design the set of Dr. Faustus came up, and I was their first student designer to come in and work with them in their smaller space. That was a pretty wonderful thing to do. After that, I was thrilled to reach kind of one of my goals as a student, which was to become a resident scenic designer at an institution. So right about the time I hit 30, I managed to land a job in Midland, Texas as a resident scenic designer for MCT. And I stayed there for about 3 years. Did 9 to 14 productions a year, and it was a lot, and I got to experience, what the desert looks like. But I learned a lot, and I got to work with a lot of wonderful people, and it really reinforced to me my love of community theater, because it's a community theater, but it's wonderfully funded, better than a lot of regional theaters, and they also have this just absolutely amazing amount of volunteers. So we did productions, and every night we'd have 90+ volunteers coming in and making it happen. And being in that sort of community, that kind of supportive environment where we just tied together all kinds of different people and brought them in for one common event, it's very, very exciting to be a part of. And it kind of reminded me that I wanted to get back into community and educational theater and kind of help promote that social awareness. This would be it right now. I've always wanted to go back into teaching, and to me that's really where the real connection, the human connection, lasts. I had the opportunity, I got offered to go to Hollywood with John Iacovelli, and I was young and I wasn't ready, and I'm not really a big city kind of guy. I'm a Southerner. I was raised from the South in Alabama, and LA is just not my thing, so I never really wanted to do that. And Broadway, I wasn't a big fan of the work environment there. I've always really leaned towards doing community theater and doing educational theater, because we're not just concentrating on what's going to get the most revenue, right? We're not just doing the big box office hits. We get to go out and do the stuff that other people kind of pass up because it's not going to sell enough tickets. That's really what makes educational theater amazing, is that we're not limited by box office sales. We can go out and try to do something that's going to reach and have an impact on our community. And it's all about community impact when it comes to live theater. It's all about people. Challenges, it's a show that, being industrial and calling for those kind of city elements, to me as a designer, it begs to be made out of metal. And we don't have facilities here on site to do the metal work. And I had to try to find a solution to still give it the appearance of, a rough, rundown, urban building without the extensive use of metal, and of course staying under budget. So we did a lot of recycling some elements we already had and trying to keep the framework open, and I think we succeeded fairly well with it. And I think what I'm really most excited about is actually not the scenic design elements, but the fact that for this show it was the first time that we got to incorporate a bunch of new technology. So we've made a big push this year to switch to LED lighting, and we got in a lot of that equipment, which arrived just in time for Rent. So we have a rock musical that actually has rock and roll lighting and moving to it, and the lighting designer Erica Berger has done a wonderful job with that. I think it's really turned into a great show. Catch up on your sleep now before you get started. You won't get much of it. Mostly, I think it's not only is it being willing to continuously develop yourself and to always expand and pick up those new techniques that you can learn. It's a wonderful field to be involved in, because I get to steal things as a designer and as a technician from all different areas. I might steal something from literature and incorporate it into the set, and sometimes I do things like projections, and so I'm constantly learning different digital media applications that I can bring into live theater. And as long as you're willing to constantly expand, you're going to do well, especially if you can learn to deal with lack of sleep, extreme stress with live performances, and keeping a level head throughout it all. I think those are probably the keys.